This is the dark side of California. People used to think that California is the land of dreams. Thousands of people have come to the state in hopes of making it big, and they're not wrong. The state of California has the biggest economy in the United States, producing just under $4 trillion in GDP. But it seems that this prosperity is not something that everyone in California experiences. With a massive economic divide and plenty of social issues, the state still has a lot to work on. One particular issue that's becoming apparent is homelessness. Data has shown that at least 186,000 people are living on the streets in California, a growing number from last year's 181,000, and it's predicted to be worse in the future. Even people who are currently housed are not safe either. Landlords are now kicking out their tenants in hopes of increasing the rent by remodeling their properties. The people are always on the brink of homelessness. They're either one check away, or when someone gets sick, skyrocketing rent is something most people can't afford in California. These people are stuck in homeless encampment areas, such as the densely populated area of Skid Row. For most people, Skid Row is known as a no-go zone due to its dangerous condition with the largest unhoused population in the US. It's said that the city has 29 buildings that are meant for housing homeless residents, but these buildings are far from what you call decent either. Inside them, there are mold and rotted ceilings that can fall anytime. Governor Gavin Newsom created a state grant to solve the issue in Skid Row. Approximately US $60 million encampment resolution fund was awarded to LA County in 2023. The authorities are now clearing homeless encampments, and plans are now underway to create a neighborhood that's safe and thriving. The grant mainly focuses on women, families, and older residents to receive permanent housing. Although some have benefited from the grant, advocates have protested the move. Some residents were forced to move without alternative housing options, just for the sake of clearing the area. Some were even ticketed by the authorities for sleeping outside, without being given any support. There's still a shortage of facilities for the homeless, which leaves thousands without a place to go. People call the plans putting the cart before the horse, not solving the underlying issue and preparing enough infrastructure before implementing it. Besides the encampment, we shouldn't ignore hidden homelessness, people who are living in their vehicles. Due to rising rents and low wages, people are now living out of their cars in California. It's not because they don't have jobs or dealing with addictions. Most of them are working a full-time position, but they still can't afford rent. One man works full-time in a fast food uniform, but is forced to live in his Honda Accord. The condition has worsened since 2020, with a startling 20,000 people living in cars, vans, or RVs in LA County. People in San Francisco and Oakland are also experiencing the same issue. Almost 100,000 Californians are now living in their vehicles. They go into safe parking areas where they can access sanitary facilities and sleep through the night without worrying about safety. Another industry with car dwellers is the entertainment industry. Some of them are assistants, actors, and lighting professionals who can't make enough money to pay for permanent housing. Often, van dwellers will utilize memberships to 24-hour gyms so they can shower and access sanitation. There's still a silver lining though. Thanks to van dwelling, some have managed to save enough to put down a payment on a house. It's a way for people to cut down on costs and save for the future. But for the unlucky few, it's the only choice they have amid California's sky-high living costs. Another dark side to California is the rising fascination of celebrities towards satanic practices. This is evident in some celebrities such as Doja Cat and Sam Smith. Doja Cat made the devil as her focus on her fourth studio album called Scarlet. This is a huge departure from her early days of Say So. She also wore an all-red, jewelry-encrusted look during Paris Fashion Week that fans deemed as demonic. Some conspiracy theorists have said she sold her soul to the devil, but Doja herself thought of her look as something that's inspired by Fortunio Leceri's 1660 De Monstris. She famously said that "your fear is not my problem." Another figure conspiracy theorists love to discuss is Sam Smith. He was once a beloved singer known for singing beautiful ballads, but Sam Smith received backlash due to his newest single, Unholy. He performed at the Grammys with Kim Petras, dressed in a devil costume. Many seem to think that the two were performing literal satanic rituals. Some even tried to connect the song to the Armageddon, like earthquakes that happened in Turkey the next day. Another figure people pinned on Satanism is Lil Nas X and his performance of Montero. People are accusing the Satanic Church are the ones behind the performances, but they've denied the allegations and instead have educated people that the devil isn't as one-dimensional as people thought. According to the religion, the devil is a folkloric figure who rebels against unjust authority, which explains why marginalized singers and artists have used his image to push back against social norms. It's no wonder the celebrities are getting stressed out because they're being monitored 24/7 by paparazzis in Hollywood. Paparazzis are independent photographers who take pictures of well-known people, such as actors, musicians, athletes, anyone with any sort of fame attached to them. Unlike event photographers, paparazzis follow celebrities and document their daily life routines instead. Paparazzis would wait outside of celebrities' houses for hours, block their cars in the parking, or ask them inappropriate questions just to get a response out of them. These photos are then sold to media outlets, often to portray celebrities in compromising or bad positions. It's a risky occupation, and you're guaranteed to be hated by most of Hollywood, but the payoff can be worth it. They can be paid up to US $10,000 for a single picture. In one extreme case, the infamous Britney Spears shaving her head picture reportedly received US $350,000. Nowadays, it seems that the paparazzis have moved on into stalker territory, leaving celebrities feeling trapped and unable to live freely. California is considered a tech hub in the US, with Silicon Valley being home to hundreds of startups. Despite promises of opportunities to work for world-changing startups, layoffs are now common in the tech industry of California. For example, tech giant Intel is cutting 15,000 jobs. The company is struggling to keep up with competitors and stock prices are falling. Another case is Dropbox. The company decided to slash 20% off its staff. Dropbox isn't just cutting out staff positions, but also managerial ranks, including vice presidents, directors, and senior managers. The company suffers from downward demand. Intel and Dropbox are not alone, as Twitter or X, Amazon, Microsoft, and even Meta have slimmed down their corporations as well. Most of the tech startups have overinvested and underperformed, miscalculated their growth, and not delivered results. Another catalyst for the layoff is the growing use of AI to replace employees, but it seems that a rising issue in California layoff is costs. Companies like Dexcom and Twitter, or X, have decided to move their headquarters to affordable states such as Austin. Workers have complained that they relocated to California after being accepted for a tech job, only to be laid off months later, leaving them stranded in a new city without an income. The fact that California is much more expensive than most cities in the USA also doesn't help. Because the cost of living is higher, their severance package will only last for a few months. Californians love their cars, which is why the state has one of the nation's worst traffic jams. It's estimated that LA commuters waste about 167 hours because of traffic every year. SoCal is not much better, with 119 hours wasted every year. One of the causes is the residents' dependence on cars. Most people in California rely on cars to expand their job opportunities instead of mass transit systems. They also develop mostly auto-oriented apartments, which are apartment buildings that prioritize car owners. They only cater to the well-off, who are at least likely to take buses or subways. Aside from that, the roads are not made to cater to bike riders and pedestrians. Bicycle lanes are rarely protected, and most sidewalks are broken and uneven. There's also a sparse tree canopy, making it highly uncomfortable for people to walk under hot Californian daylight. Can you believe that there's a whole 40-block area in LA that's now being treated as a free-for-all red light district? In Figueroa Boulevard, South LA, hundreds of ladies are out in broad daylight selling their services. Previously, the activities were more commonly seen during nighttime. Now, you can easily find ladies on street corners waiting for their customers. Sometimes they provide services as little as US $40, but these ladies claim to make up to US $1,000 per day. It's getting harder to get the streets in order. According to the rules, officers can't stop them. What's even sadder is that these women often don't work for themselves. About 95% are working under street gangs that take almost all their money. This issue isn't just exclusive to LA. The aftermath of the governor's decision is also felt in other cities, such as San Diego. Hopefully, the authorities can come up with a solution where the ladies are protected and have alternative income sources. Some people may think about glitz and glamour when they hear California, but nothing is further from the truth. Another issue that Californians are dealing with is garbage, as their streets are strewn with trash bags. Alarmingly, the two cities with the highest amount of street trash in the US are Los Angeles and San Francisco, both in California. More people are throwing away trash right on the street because it's convenient. This is also worsened by the homeless population who has no access to trash collection areas. You can easily find rotting food piles, dilapidated furniture, discarded wrappers, and abandoned shopping carts on the streets and sidewalks. The city council in LA even tried to impose a US $100 bounty for people who report illegal dumping. The trash in Californian cities is not just a terrible sight to be seen, but also poses health risks. There's potential for groundwater contamination and an increase in rodents or insects that spread diseases. Some people have tried to take matters into their own hands and create movements to clear trash from their areas. For example, the Echo Park Trash Club gathers about 20 to 40 volunteers for trash picking events. According to the organization, they can pick up about 2 to 4 tons of trash on the street every event. With streets overflowing with garbage, it seems that California is closer and closer to losing its glitter and gold. Another form of pollution that California is famous for? The smog in LA. The city of LA is famous for having one of the worst smogs. It has the nation's worst air quality. This might seem perplexing to some because the state has progressive environmental policies. California has been tackling the pollution problem by regulating and limiting vehicle emissions, but it seems that the state might underestimate one source of pollution: fertilizers. Many have put the blame on the agriculture industry, as researchers found about 40% of the state's emissions of nitrogen oxides comes from agricultural soils. The community surrounding the agricultural areas are now paying the price. People now have an increasing rate of asthma attacks, acute bronchitis, and missed days at work or school. The state is estimated to lose tens of billions of dollars in healthcare every year due to air pollution. The air pollution is exacerbated by soaring heat. That's because high heat accelerates molecular reactions in the air and creates even more smog. And when the area has back-to-back days of extreme heat, the air moves forward and back across the basin, creating a thicker smog day by day, thanks to LA's bathtub shape. Solving this issue seems to be a complicated matter that needs all parties to contribute, from the industry, government, and the residents. Another factor that worsens California's air pollution? The state's regular wildfires that happen almost every year. California has a long history when it comes to wildfires, but recent decades have shown some of the destructive wildfires. The first recorded wildfire was in 1889, where the fire happened in San Diego and burnt nearly 300,000 acres of land. Wildfires cost the region about US $30 billion collectively since the year 2017. It's said that residents have been breathing smoke for 3 days until they finally evacuated. About 250,000 people are without access to power due to the fire, and over 10,000 people have already been instructed to evacuate. Thousands of firefighters have been working non-stop to stop the fire to no avail. While California dazzles us with iconic beaches, glamorous celebrities, and promises of opportunities, a closer look gives us a darker side.